So these are the few sort of a sector I was talking about, that what are the various sectors where the opportunities are there, and we'll briefly talk about each sector, what it does basically, so that a lot of you, I'm sure, through the your education or in the social media and your journal uh, learning, you know a lot of these areas. But I'll still talk briefly about each one of them. So, clinical trials, data management, statistical programming, I've clubbed them into the one specific area. Now, clinical trials is the part of the drug development industry. When we are when we want to bring out a new drug, we want to understand, we want to, there is a disease which we want to challenge with the help of the medication. How do we do this? We we conduct trials. We start with the study in the lab environment, where we study thousands of molecules, and then we go to the preclinical phase, where a lot of you have studied in the preclinical phase, when we study the target molecules in the animal models. Once we are through with the safety and efficacy profile in the animal models, we then move to the clinical trials. Clinical trials are in human beings. Clinical trial means the study of the safety and efficacy of the drugs in the human population. As we are doing the studies in the human populations, we need to ensure that these trials are conducted under very strong regulatory framework, which means we need to comply with the regulations. The regulations of India, for example, we conduct the trials in India, we follow the Indian regulation called New Drugs and Clinical Trial Rules 2019, and our governing agency is the CDSCO under the Ministry of Health, the Central Drug Standards Control Organization. We conduct in India the studies with the under the regulatory environment of CDSCO, and also we follow the ICH GCP principles, which are the mother guidelines, in a sense, global guidelines to conduct the clinical trials. When we do these trials, we cannot just go and start giving the drugs to the human being straight away. No, we do progressive studies. We start with the phase one, where there is a healthy population, where we do the studies in the healthy population on the safety aspects. We do not cover the efficacy in the phase one. We want to study whether how the pharmacokinetics and dynamics work. Then we move to the slightly larger phase, which is on the diseased population, where we try the drug in the human diseased population, and we test on both safety and efficacy of the drug. So during the efficacy and safety of the drug, we do the whole spectrum of studies, how the drug is actually behaving with the body, and what is there a efficacy if the drug is working in the human beings, it's on the target disease, or we see the safety aspects. We do the pharmacovigilance, the safety of the drug during the clinical trials. And once we find out the fairly safety profile, the drug is safe, and then efficacy is, it's giving the, it's efficacious, we move to the third phase, basically, where with the phase three done in the larger population groups and different genetic groups in different countries, in different disease profiles, where the patients, we prepare the exclusion criteria, and then we study on a very long-term basis what are the safety and efficacy issues related with the drug. And once your drug is now tested, we have a safety data, we have an efficacy data of the drug, we go to the regulator and seek the marketing approval of the drug. That's called the NDA, new drug application. We go to the regulator with the NDA, and we want to launch the new drug in the market. Now, during this clinical trial process, there's a process called clinical data management, CDM. Now, CDM is a very integral part of the clinical trials. We are producing during clinical trials millions of bytes of data, millions of pages are, we collect the data in various forms, source documentation, case report forms, electronic case report forms. We collect so much diagnostic information about the patients. How do we integrate this data? And that's where the role of the IT, clinical data management, comes into play, where we how to collect data scientifically, how we integrate this data into the data management systems, softwares, how do we analyze this information using the clinical data management software, a very independent career opportunity in addition to the clinical operations, the first point which we were talking. And within that, the third area comes is the statistical programming. Now, after the data management, once our data is ready for the clinical trial, then we analyze this data statistically and we have to submit the reports to the regulatory agencies. Now, when we submit the regulatory reports, the clinical trial reports, we need to statistically analyze, and there are statistical programming models. SAS is used in this area. So this is the third area of opportunity within the clinical trials domain. Uh, Now, in the all these, there are a lot of subsets of careers in the clinical research. You work as a clinical research coordinator to begin with. You work as the junior CRA. You work as a clinical trial assistant, and then progressively you work towards the various senior level positions. You become then CRAs, lead CRAs, team leads. You can get into quality assurance in clinical trials. People build their career in the clinical trials, regulatory domain. Then in clinical operations, there's a whole spectrum of growth. So if you pick this area just alone, clinical trials, there is a career for entire lifetime in 30, 35 years, till whatever time you want to work. You can continue to grow into the senior positions, both horizontally and vertically, within the organizations, outside the organizations. Then comes the pharmacovigilance. Now, pharmacovigilance is science of drug safety. How we ensure that the drug is safe. So during the clinical trials, we do the safety study, safety profile of the drug. We study the drug is safe during the clinical trial. And on the basis of this safety data, we finally apply to the regulator along with the efficacy safety data for the marketing authorization. Now, when we were doing the clinical trials, we had a very limited population. We had about, let's say, on the higher side in phase 3 study, you had 4,000 patients. You knew who these patients are through their investigators, what food they eat, what drugs they take, what do they do, because as a subject population, you maintain all their information. But now in the marketing, post-marketing, your drug is gone to the millions of patients worldwide in 160, 170 countries. Your drug is now available. Now, how do we monitor then the safety issues at that stage? And that's where the post-marketing pharmacovigilance plays a very important role. Post-marketing pharmacovigilance is not an option or choice for the company. It's by law mandatory for every company to ensure that post-marketing, they collect all the information from the various sources, whether through the physicians who are treating the patients, directly from the patients who are getting treated, and they want to report either to the pharmaceutical company about the side effects, adverse events, serious adverse events they are faced, or they want to report it directly to the regulatory agencies. They want to report it to the company, they want to report it to their doctor. So there are a lot of ways. Then there are publications, a lot of journals which are published in the PubMed. If you go and see, a lot of global journals are there. Now, in every journal, there are publications related with the safety and efficacy of the drug. Now, as a company, we have to study that publications as well and take out any safety related issues from these publications. Social media. We all as consumers report a lot of adverse events or side effects of the drug on social media these days. So the company is now responsibility to scan the social media for any adverse event information or side effects of the drug from the social media account. So there are a lot of ways and methodology, even the legal cases. If the patient files a case against a drug company due to the safety issues, even those legal cases today need to be reported to the regulatory agencies. And that's where the role of a pharmacovigilance in post-marketing is very critical. And you'll be pleased to know India today does over 80% of the global case processing, pharmacovigilance, ICSRs. The globally, we do about 80% of the work comes to India. So India is now the outsourcing hub for the global pharmacovigilance. And probably when you travel into the global conferences, exhibitions, when you attend these seminars and workshops, you'll find probably every one of three professionals, senior level people are from India, because India has grown in this sector substantially. And we employ close to about 50,000, 45, 50,000 people alone in pharmacovigilance domain. So it's a huge area of opportunity for the students who are from the pharmacy, B.Pharm, M.Pharm, PharmDs, BDS, BHMS, MBBS doctors. It's a great opportunity to be in pharmacovigilance domain. Then we'll talk about a very important area for all life sciences professionals, irrespective of their B.Pharm or MSCs, BSCs, biotechs, is the regulatory affairs. Now, regulatory affairs is a very important domain in the pharmaceutical industry. Everything in pharma, regulatory department touches, whether you are in preclinical, whether you are in clinical trials, whether you are manufacturing drugs, you are marketing drugs, you have to price drugs, you have to package drugs, you have to export drugs out of India to any country or from any country to India. Whatever areas in pharma department, at every stage, every department, regulatory affairs plays a critical role. So regulatory is an excellent today career option, which is now emerging very fast. So it's very, important for the life sciences professional to look into this career opportunity. In regulatory affairs, we start with the clinical trials. Clinical trials are a highly regulated function, whether you do it in India, Europe, US, in any country, we have stringent regulations. So every pharma professionals or anyone who wish to work in the regulatory domain must understand the entire drug development process and how the clinical trial regulations function. Then you have a lot of other areas, CMC, chemistry, manufacturing, controls, the all export related documentation, CTDs, common technical documentation, dossier preparation. All these areas play a very important role. The knowledge of regulatory affairs today, a formal education in regulatory affairs science is very, very critical, because that's where large number of the global pharmaceutical companies have now started outsourcing from India. So what happened in the last 20 years in clinical trials, data management, statistical programming, pharmacovigilance, now it's happening in the last few years in form of the regulatory. So a large number of the global pharmaceutical companies and CROs are outsourcing the regulatory affairs function from India. Not only from the regulatory outsourcing point of view, but also from the India point of view. So India today is the pharmacy to the world. We export to over 150, 160 countries, maybe more. And every country where we export, we have to follow certain set of regulations. Although there is large amount of harmonization taken place, but still there are a lot of differences between the various regulatory, level of the countries. So it's a very critical area for a regulatory professional to explore this. This is the one specific area which you should, as an opportunity, try. And huge career growth. Uh, as I said earlier, almost 25, 30, 35 of years of your career, you can pretty much learn, grow in regulatory domain, starting with the drug regulatory affairs executive to the regulatory affairs head of the organization. So regulatory affairs head of any organization is a long journey. You have to work at the different levels, understand the different regulatory aspects. Only then you can grow to that level. So yes, a lot of opportunities for the regulatory. And today, if you see every pharmaceutical company, we in India, we employ over 75,000 plus regulatory affairs professionals alone. So large number of uh, in the huge big pharmaceutical companies, the regulatory affairs department is fairly big in terms of the numbers and the importance both. Then another area which has emerged in the last about 8 to 10 years and which is almost at the beginning of the growth is the pharmaceutical business analytics. Now, this is very important area for all of you who are from the life sciences education, whether it's the pharmacy or the M.Pharm or BScs, MScs, biotechs, medical doctors. In this sector, we learn to take important scientific and business decisions. Every pharmaceutical company, whether big or small, but more so the big pharma, if you pick the top 500 pharmaceutical companies worldwide, and in India, top 50 to 60 companies, they all use pharma business analytics. You must have heard the business analytics in the context of we use everywhere in the retail industry, analysis of how the demand, analyze the demand for the food products, how the Uber or Olas of the world analyze the customer demand, analytics on the routes analysis, where the more cabs should be there, what times the more cabs are available in the market. So all this happens with the use of analytics. Telecom companies, financial service companies, the insurance companies, how do they come up with a product in the insurance or in the financial services? On the basis of analyzing the business information. Same way, we analyze the information in pharma world. So let's say if there is a pharmaceutical company want to launch a new molecule. Now, how do they decide that we have to invest $2 billion, which is going to take 8 to 10 years on a fast track, 4 to 6 years, 5 to 6 years, you invest into a new drug? What are the chances of success? How this drug will grow when I launch this drug 6 years or 10 years down the line? What will be my sales? Who will be my customer? Who are the competitors today? Who will be the competitors in future? What kind of a disease profile the current drugs are able to treat? In future, what will happen? Which are the companies which are currently investing into the similar drugs? The patient profile, demography, epidemiology, pricing. What will be the pricing 10 years down the line? What will be the regulatory framework 10 years down the line? What will be the market size 10 years down the line? These are a lot of questions we need to answer. And these are lots of questions, important questions we need to answer before we invest into a drug. That's what a business analyst in the pharmaceutical industry does. Very important role. You need to have excellent skill set for this, understanding, in-depth understanding about the healthcare systems, forecasting, competitive intelligence, how the pricing is done, how the reimbursements are done, how to analyze the sales data, trends. A lot of this you learn in business analytics and excellent career growth in the coming years. Pharmaceutical companies use business analytics as almost a backbone department who helps company in ongoing basis in taking important business decisions. Then comes a couple of more areas which have emerged in the last few years is the next big opportunity in addition to regulatory and pharma analytics is the medical devices. Now, till about COVID times, India was importing almost 80% or more of the medical devices. So entire our requirement of medical devices pre-COVID was being met by the imports, even to the extent India did not manufacture gloves, the very basic gloves which were used by everyone's, and billions of gloves were used during the COVID in India. We were not manufacturing, we were importing. But that's where the government took a very right decision at that time during the COVID and announced a lot of schemes for the industry to invest into the medical device sector. And today, that percentage has come down to almost 65% only in the last about 4 years post-COVID. And we are constantly reducing our dependence on the imported medical devices, and we have started exporting. So good news about India is that we are exporting wide range of medical devices. This also happened with the help of the new medical device regulation. Today, we have a fairly robust medical device regulation like the clinical trials regulation or pharmacovigilance regulation. Now, India has a very strong medical device regulation, which is in line with the European medical device regulation, EU MDR. And today, every device should be properly tested. Trials should be conducted in India before the companies obtain the approval. Though on case-by-case basis, certain waivers are given for the medical devices, but largely India is now well-controlled market. Now, this is a big area where opportunities are going to grow substantially after the pharma sector. So it's the second largest sector within the this domain after the pharma. We have a medical device as a huge industry. So you will have opportunity to work in the quality assurance, in the regulatory aspects of pharmacovigilance, technology side of medical devices, excellent career growth, career opportunity in this space. Another area which is growing now is the medical and scientific writing. Now, this area is less for the freshers. Once you acquire certain amount of exposure in regulatory or clinical trials or pharmacovigilance, medical devices, analytics, you should explore the career opportunities in medical devices. Companies prefer to hire people who have ability to understand scientific data, scientific literature, business literature related with the pharma healthcare, who understand the science, people who can then statistically analyze the data, people who can then write articles, publications for journals, articles for the medical pharma companies, medical device companies. So a lot of writing opportunities are emerging, and large number of companies are now outsourcing this process. So India is again a big center for this. The other two areas, medical affairs, GXP, medical affairs is more for the people who are from the medical background. They work in the pharma industries, medical affairs department, which is a bridge between the end consumers, which are the doctors for the pharma companies, and the within the company. So they ensure that all scientific information goes out of information. The information is not wrong medically. It should be in line with the the regulations, guidelines, science. GXP is all about the quality. As you progress into the careers, you will learn more about the quality. Quality impacts everything. Quality impacts the manufacturing, quality impacts the laboratories, quality impacts the clinical trials, quality impacts pharmacovigilance, medical devices. So, quality today plays a very important role in any pharmaceutical organization because at the end of the day, whatever you are manufacturing, whether it's a drug, device, or the vaccine, it should be of topmost quality standard. It should We should have a clear data how we monitor the quality within the organization. Do we have proper auditable quality systems and processes? Are all people who are working within the organizations are properly trained on the quality processes in all these areas? The eight boxes you see, that's where the quality plays extremely important role. And as you grow within the organization, uh, you will have a very clear vertical on the quality. So you start as a QC, QA, you move into the auditor's domain. And once you're in the audit domain, you can grow within the organization, you can head the quality. And today, quality department within the pharma organization in all these segments is topmost career opportunity, but requires a lot of resilience, a lot of effort uh, to work in this space, constantly working in a specific domain, acquiring a lot of expertise, be quality focus is extremely important in this sector. Let me change the slide now. So we already spoken how the growth is coming into India in terms of the clinical trials or analytics. All these areas are creating workforce, constantly creating workforce. So this is, we have already spoken. Now, in order to work in this sector, you need skill sets. You all have done your education from excellent, good institutions, good qualifications. But at the end of the day, we need to ensure that all of our education, whether it is with the aligned with the industry requirements, is our education. If not, let's acquire the skill sets. Today, to work, to grow in any sector, you must have the right skill sets. And these skill sets will not only get you the opportunities for your first job, but will also help you in growing within the organization. If you go without skill set, you work in any organization, then the chances of your growth are less because you have been put into one process and you're learning that process. But it's very hard while you're working to see what are the other opportunities in that sector. A formal skilling program would only help you in getting the not only the first job, but will actually help you in growing over the years, because you will go a very in-depth knowledge about the whole sector. So let's say what in pharmacovigilance you need to learn. So in pharmacovigilance, you must understand the regulations, which are the global regulations which govern the pharmacovigilance, and then country-specific regulations. Which are the, what are the terms, terminologies, definitions? How then we do the case processing, how we do the ICSRs, the individual case safety reporting. Once you receive the ADR, that's the step zero. What happens after the ADR? So in our hospital environment, in the ADR center, we receive the ADR from the patient, adverse drug reaction. Now, what happens after that? Once your ADR is come, that is not the end of the pharmacovigilance. That's the beginning. That's where the pharmacovigilance starts, the post-marketing pharmacovigilance starts, where you receive the ADR. What do? We see it is then goes to the company. Company will do the triaging, will then see the relevance, then reporting timelines are decided, that within what time frame this will be reported. How then we do the case processing in safety database? There are softwares which require a very special skill to process these cases on using the safety database. How we write specialized reports for the regulatory agencies, which are called aggregate reports, PSURs, PADERs, PEBRers, all these reports, how we conduct the signal detection risk management, how we do the medical review of adverse events, how we do the audits and inspections, quality assurance within the pharmacovigilance domain. So all areas, if you see, require very special skill set. In every area, if you learn, it requires immense amount of hours to learn these formally with the help of senior, trainers. Proper content, proper softwares are used to train. And once you acquire the right skill set, it's easy for you to appear for an interview in a company and clear your interview and get into your first job role. Apart from these skill sets, you also today need to work on a lot of journal skill sets. It's important. Perhaps your 60 to 70% area would be, the scientific or the business skill sets related with that area. But you need to also ensure that you have the other important human skills. One was, I said, the core skilling is important. In a specific area, you do the right program, skilling program, which is properly accredited, certified by the organization, which has a lot of experience in placing the students. Then English communication. This sector highly requires, the English communication skill set. It's very important to communicate, speak, spoken English, written English, the listening ability, what the other person is saying. It's very important that we do not just speak, but also listen what other people are saying, so we understand it and respond it accordingly. Most of the time, this error happens even with the experienced senior people who do not have the listening abilities will respond wrongly. So it's good to have, important to rather to have a good English communication skill set, because India today is a global, center for outsourcing. Large number of these areas, all these 8 areas where I just discussed, all the opportunities are in English. There's no role of our mother tongue or vernacular language, whichever our language is. It has very little role. Yes, a lot of times we hear political statements, the role of the vernacular language in the education. It is there, it's important, but English plays equally important role, because today, if you have learned pharmacy or life sciences or dental or Ayurveda, BHMS, BMS, and you want to work in these sectors, English is most important because a lot of global work comes to India due to our English competence. Presentation skills, whether we can present to our team, we can present to a larger client base, uh, can we present to the investigators, can we present to our internal teams, can we carry out legibly proper group discussion, are we civil enough, civilized enough to properly participate in the group discussion, do not speak over the others, wait for your chance. These are the important skills today in the corporate domain if you want to work in any organization. Keyboard skills, very important. Now, keyboard skill now is added by bit of AI, how to use journal AI into our day-to-day lives, computer usage. There are no more pen and paper jobs. I'm saying this very clearly with a lot of responsibility. No more pen and paper jobs today. If you have any, you know, if you if you do not know how to use computers, you cannot type on Word document, MS Word, or Excel, or prepare a PowerPoint presentation. That's the first skill. Go and acquire from this on afternoon onwards if you want to work in this industry or any industry for that matter. No pen and paper job. So uh, these are the very basic skill sets. You will be working only on computers. You will work on various softwares, not as programmers, but also as users, users of software. Very important to learn journal AI. Use ChatGPT rationally. ChatGPT is an extremely useful tool if you use it properly, scientifically. Uh, do not use it for the copy paste content for your thesis or for the projects you write in the college, university, postgraduate, graduate level. Uh, ChatGPT is there to help you in researching the data, analyzing the data. Use it rationally because if you use the ChatGPT content, you write your problem, it gives you the answer, you copy paste, you do not read, and you present it on your thesis. Chances are that your thesis is going to fail. It's not going to hold good because the teachers are also becoming experienced. And today, when you read the language in a thesis or in an email or in a communication, you realize that person has used the chat GPT without even thinking because there are a lot of elements they should have deleted, uh, while copying from chat GPT. So use it rationally, use it for research, use it for analysis, use your own language. Otherwise, writing skills are bread and butter skills. Internally within every organizations, you need to write formal structured emails to your colleagues. At that time, you cannot just go immediately and copy paste all your communication from ChatGPT because people within the organization or outside will immediately understand you have used the ChatGPT, and that sends a very negative impression on your client or colleagues. Soft skills, extremely important. How to do the time management? Are you using your time wisely? Are you reaching in your meeting in time? Are you reaching for even your interview in time? You will realize sometimes the value of time management when you go for an interview. You go for an interview in a large organization in a big IT park, it's got the office. Your interview is at 10:30 and you reach happily 10:20 thinking that you have reached in time. No, it will take you from the IT park security gate. By the time you clear everything, security drill at the gate, get your pass, reach the reception, it might take you 30 minutes actually, and you might miss out your interview timing. So time, I'm just giving you example how the time management is important, how the time management is important in the pharma and the clinical trial industry. Every 1 day delay in launch of the drug it costs $1 million in terms of the revenue. So imagine a delay of a time in a regulatory process or due to the performance issues, time management issues, that delay can cost $1 million a day. Things like team working. We are working in the industry, in the life sciences sector, where there is no me, there is no I. It's all about we. We work in teams, we large organizations where you will be working within your India team, you will be part of the global team, and no one says, I have launched this drug alone. A pharmaceutical company team has successfully done this work. So, role of I and me is very little now in this industry, or rather any industry where you work, you're part of a larger team. Have flexibility and mobility. It's important as youngsters that do not stick to that. I will work from home, I'll work in my town, I will not go out in any city. There are no more work from home jobs. I'm very being upfront here so that a lot of people ask, are there work from home jobs? There were. And there was a situation during COVID because companies had to perform, company had commitments, drug development had to be done. So there was element of work from home for certain amount of period. Now people are back in their offices. Everyone is working from offices. And you will realize you will learn far better if you go as a fresher in a company and you will interact with colleagues. I owe my career to a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my seniors, because we work together. We used to talk to each other, have a cup of coffee, tea, go out, meetings within the organization. You are meeting each other, having lunch together. A lot of these factors make camaraderie. You'll make friends for life. You will work with people, and in online space, you will find very difficult to learn specific job role. If you're working in the office environment, your colleague, senior colleague, junior colleague, anyone will come, will train you on certain things. So imagine an army officer working, actually doing a drill from the home and not working in the front and not getting trained in the field. Imagine, will you be comfortable? If the doctor was actually working from home, would you be comfortable with that doctor? No, you won't. Same way, we need to go out and work in the field, in the offices, in the real work environment. In that process, a company may have a flexibility sometimes to give you work from home, but do not ask in your first job. And this is my advice to youngsters, that as youngsters, do not, when you appear for interview, please do not ask for the work from home in your first job. You may not get job. You may get negative marks for asking even that question. That's the situation today. So work, very little about us, very quickly. Cliniminds in this domain since 2004. We offer very specialized program. We have over 20 years of experience now. Over 11,000 professionals have been trained in these sectors, what you saw on the screen earlier. They all are working in the industry. Excellent placement support is provided by us. We ensure that every student gets placement opportunity. We train students with the mock interviews, a lot of technical scientific interviews. We train everyone, and then we send you for the interviews. It is our responsibility as an organization to give you proper training, proper pre-interview skill sets, and also the opportunities for real interviews with the companies. And today we have a fairly good alumni across the world. When I go and travel, I meet a lot of our Cliniminds students in conference. Sometimes the number could be as high as 15% people who have studied actually some course from Cliniminds. We offer the training deliveries, live e-learning programs. We teach the live e-learning. These are the live sessions using Zoom and Teams. You learn live like this. Today we are interacting. We are going to shortly be interacting with one-to-one. This delivery mode is excellent because it saves you a lot of cost and time of travel. Because this sector where we are providing the skilling does not require any laboratories kind of a testing. Hence, and everything is on computers. So a lot of softwares, documentation, processes, everything is taught on computers today because you will be doing the same things on computers in your office organization. So there are no lab jobs here. So hence we prefer to teach this way. We are able to reach the wider audience across the country and the world rather. We are able to bring the best trainers from all parts of India and good international trainers if we teach this way. Because I can bring a trainer from Bangalore, Bombay, Hyderabad, Delhi, any city actually. A trainer is in small city. I can bring him into this program to teach you. I can bring international trainers sometimes. Another advantage is all audio video recordings. All our lectures are audio video recorded, which means if you miss a lecture, you miss half a lecture, you will get next morning the entire audio video recording of this lecture and all subjects. So whatever the 100, 120 sessions which take place during your program, all those 100, 120 lectures are available online recording for next 1 year for you. Read them, listen to those audio video recordings. If you're going for interview, listen to those audio video recordings. We are building a lot of artificial intelligence into these learning programs. So you'll be using these technologies to learn better on our learning management platform. Another advantage is you'll be spending less time on road. Traveling from one point to another in any urban center, it takes 1.5 to 2 years these days. You will save time, you'll spend more time learning this, and then you're ready for the job interviews. So Cliniminds organizes those job interviews. These are some of the examples. These are not all the examples of our placements. There are a lot of other placement opportunities. Next batch will be starting in October, middle October. And we are accredited by the Government of India body called Life Sciences Sector Skill Development Council under the Ministry of Skill Development. We are accredited internationally by the Accreditation Council for Clinical Research Education in the United States in 2013. So over 11 years of global accreditation, a lot of awards. We are backed up by the very solid full-time trainers, but a very strong scientific and advisory board from the industry and academia. So very senior people from the global companies are our advisors who give us the guidance, support that what's happening new, and we bring these changes into our programs and students benefit. These are some of our senior most industry faculty. We bring in a lot of technology partners to make your learning better in the industry. So there'll be different companies under there for their softwares, for their processes. You'll get the opportunities during your internal internship during the program. So that's about Cliniminds, and that's our global network of students now. Why Cliniminds? Over 20 years plus, 11,000 plus students now, 200 plus organizations where we place our students, solid relationships with the companies, good placements, 360-degree placement support. When I say 360-degree placement support means we identify students from the very beginning, what help they need. They need in communication skill set, technical side. We give you mock interviews, preparation, CV writing. We have built in the AI software in our for your placements. Your CVs are written using the AI software, which you can use in your learning management system. Our programs are accredited in India and globally. A very senior industry full-time team with 15, 16, 17 years of experience in the industry. They come and teach you. High quality content, you on our LMS, all audio video recordings are available for every live session. You get books, ebooks, notes, a lot of integrated softwares. You'll get training on data management, clinical trial software, pharmacovigilance software. You'll get hands-on training. So this is what we do, and my colleague will shortly share the placement information of some of our recent placements. But then we will start taking the questions one by one from you. So I'll take a pause here. Thank you very much for your time. I'll take pause and put the screen on with some placement information, and we will open the audio. You can post your questions, but you can ask your questions as well.
So we can take up the questions now. You can now try to unmute. Let me open the. If anyone has any questions, can raise their hand, and you can then unmute and ask your questions.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir. My name is Ami Bhatt, and I have actually industrial experience, 3 years working with regulatory affairs field.
Okay.
And but I have actually career gap. Like since 2012, I have not worked. I've just briefly worked for 6 months at Genpact, and
Okay.
now I am again planning to join the industry. So I was planning to do the course like clinical research, data management from Cliniminds.
Yes,
So
please.
my question is, what are the chances, like after career gap, after doing the course of me getting the job?
No problem at all. You'll get a. So what is? When did you finish your just timelines? When did you finish your last qualification? And which was the last qualification?
Yes, I finished in 2010.
Okay.
I completed my in 2008 my graduation in biotechnology, and then I've done PGDM from Bombay College of Pharmacy.
Okay.
2 years course in 2010. And in 2020, just to refresh my entire knowledge, I did PGDM again in regulatory affairs. So that was for 1 year from Raj GPRS.
Okay.
Yes. And after that, I have not done any of the courses.
And how long you have not been working?
So it's been like since 2012. There is only for 6 months in 2020 in COVID, I got job in Genpact. Unfortunately,